Hello and welcome back to the United Devils YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be giving my post-match reaction to United's win against LASK at Old Trafford as they found themselves 1-0 down with 55 minutes played but managed to win with 2 minutes to go. A Martial goal and a Lingard goal were enough for the Red Devils on that day. Of course, there were a fair few changes to the side that played against Leicester. Two survivors, the Harry Maguire and Brandon Williams, were the only players that stayed in the side. The rest were changed, and it showed as the rust was very apparent, as these players haven't really been playing a lot, and did manage to shake it off as the game progressed, but some players had to come off, obviously weren't doing enough or needed a break, and United in the end controlled the game and had that final bit of quality in the end. So overall, you'd have to say you were expecting a bit more quality. It demonstrates how very clearly our second string need reinforcements. It's not strong enough. I think if the deal for Jadon Sancho goes through in the next couple of days, then Greenwood will be reduced to the second string, but obviously still pushing. He's obviously a magnificent talent and has a lot of future, but he'll be kind of on that right-hand side and maybe push Dan James onto the left. And then it'll be up between Lingard, Mata, and maybe even a new signing to be that number 10. And I think it will be Ighalo up front for United. We'll have to see how things turn out. There's still plenty of time for transfers to come in, but we won't be talking about that now. Of course, United started the first half sloppily. I mean, there were loads of misplaced passes, some rare shots from Maguire, but that was it. LASK had the better chances, obviously hit the crossbar, forced Romero into good saves, and then the last sort of knockings of the first half, Brandon Williams put in a decent cross and no one could get on the end of it. And, United went into the half goalless. I wasn't expecting any changes to be made at halftime. I thought there was no need for that. The team just needs to shake off the rust, play a bit better, play a bit more sharply, a bit more clinically, and just get that final bit of quality in the final third. But it was actually LASK that opened the scoring from a corner. It was cleared by Fosu-Mensah, but only as far as Weisinger, and a brilliant finish from him. Romero completely beaten, no chance for the Argentine, and it was a brilliant goal. I mean, I was shocked when I had it on air, because obviously I was doing the watch along yesterday. I couldn't believe that United let that, well, almost that the LASK player scored that, but also that United found themselves 1-0 down. But not for too long, as 93 seconds later, Jesse Lingard equalised. Great ball into Juan Mata, brilliant first pass into Lingard, who's made a great run, and he cut inside and finished past the goalkeeper with ease. Really well done from him, his second goal in as many games, so hopefully the form continues, because it must be a massive confidence booster for him. And he looked really lively throughout the game, I must say. It was a very, very good performance from him. The game just sort of went along. The substitutions were made. Pogba, Pereira, Chong, Martial, Mengi all came on at various parts in the game, and I think they were timed perfectly. I think Pogba and Pereira coming on, maybe Pereira was a bit of a question mark, but Pogba coming on controlled the game. I think that's what he was brought on to do. People questioned whether he should have been brought on, but I think the controlling the tempo with a little bit more of a forward-thinking mind that Pogba has, I think that was perfect, just what United needed. Chong came on to give Brandon Williams a bit of a rest, because the defending part of the day was done. I think LASK were just holding out, maybe getting a creditable draw, but Chong actually did okay. Martial obviously got the goal. It was really, really well done from him, and Mengi didn't put a foot wrong for the 10 minutes he was on for, so a really, really good debut for him. So we'll move on from that and go on to the goal. Obviously, another great bit of interplay between Mata and another player, Martial this time, and Mata played him in. Martial was free, slid it through the goalkeeper's legs. Bit fortunate, because the goalkeeper probably should have saved it, but Martial will take that. Still 23rd goal of the season, and a massive goal for him as he goes above Rashford on the goal tally. So good performance in the end. Took a bit of time to get the bits of quality that United needed to win the game, but they got there in the end, and that's all that matters. It was a big win for them, for some players, in the sense of confidence boosters and shaking off rust. It was probably a big game for Ollie to determine which parts of his squad he wants to keep and which parts he doesn't. I think there'll be a few there that might be sent away on loan or even sold, like Pereira. I can see going. I could see Fosu-Mensah going on loan depending on the situation with Dalot. Mengi I don't think will go on. Chong I could see going on loan, especially if Sancho comes in, as he will get very little game time. But nevertheless, United got the win. It's important for everyone that it was actually a positive performance. Because I think if United slumped there, things could go wrong, and confidence and dropping and questions being asked was not needed. So the win was good enough today, or yesterday even. And we'll be on to the player ratings now. So Romero, 7, solid, composed, competent, made some good saves. Strong in the air. Last minute save from Ragus at the end was a really good one with his shoulder, just sort of knelt in or sort of leaned into it as such, and stopped that late equaliser potentially. Then we'll go for Fosu-Mensah, 6.5. I think he probably would have got a 7 or a 7.5 if he'd actually put in any kind of attacking shift. It was all very good defensively, but needs to work on his attack, and I think that's what the next few weeks will be about. Bailly, 7.5, was really, really strong, composed, smart, aerially dominant too. Still got that yard of pace despite all his injuries, and it's really good to see him back. He's going to be an important squad player, and maybe even pushing Lindelof out the team. We'll have to see how things turn out. Maguire, 7. I think it would be an 8 if he'd converted any of those headed chances. He was really, really smart on the ball as well. Barely put a toe wrong. Maybe 2 attacking headers he missed, and 1 defensively that led to that shot hitting the crossbar. So it could have been a bit of a bad game for him, but in the end he was lucky in one part, and United got the win anyway. And he showed a little bit of pace at times with his dribbling on the ball. And something we haven't really said, he is actually the 3rd highest dribbler in the Premier League this season that just finished. And I think that sort of shows what he's all about. Left back, Brandon Williams, 6.5 as well. I think probably a little bit more caught out defensively and not quite as good in attack as we would have wanted, but certainly better than Fosu-Mensah, so that's why he gets the same rating. Sort of balances out in the end. Got caught out for one bit in defence, and probably that cross should have been better in attack. So 6.5 for him. I'm expecting him to be performing much better when he's not being more reliant on tracking back. He might not trust the wingers to cover his back if he goes forward. Midfielders, McTominay and Fred are getting the same ratings as 6. Because they weren't great, they weren't, anything special. They were okay. Maybe that's just because they're rusty. Maybe it's because after seeing Matic and Pogba playing together, we're sort of at a different level. We're expecting a different level. But I think it's more, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say it's just rust, because we've seen how well they can play together. We've seen how well they've worked together as a midfield partnership over the season when Pogba and Matic have been out of the team, certainly when Bruno's not been there too. So benefit the doubt for those two. Hopefully it will improve as their fitness improves. So that's something we have to see. Juan Mata, 8.5. I thought his first half was poor. I thought it was a little bit off the pace. But when it comes to experienced players that are a bit rusty, they shake it off quite quickly. And he did so in the second half. First time ball to Jesse Lingard was brilliant, and great play in between with him and Martial. Actually, since Martial came on, he did really well, and he got 2 assists on the night and had a brilliant game, brilliant second half. So 8.5 for me and my man of the match. Lingard got an 8 for me. He was lively, he was energetic, he made good runs, he wanted the ball. It was the Lingard we've been seeing under Mourinho, the infamous Messi Lingard memes that were circulating, obviously, around 2018. I thought it was a really good performance from him. I think he did really well. I think he'll be an excellent squad player for United in the next season. I don't see him starting many games, and I think if he's looking for that, he'll have to go elsewhere where the spotlight's not as bright. But if he's happy to stay as a squad player just because he loves the club and he understands his new role, I think that'll be a perfect position for him, especially because he'll have something to prove. Daniel James, 6. I think a lot of people have been criticising Dan James over the season. Some people have been saying he needs to go on loan. I disagree with that. I think he, at times, I think everyone forgets really that he was a championship player last season, and that step up is always going to be difficult. And I think the fact is he's got 10 goal contributions this season, 4 goals and 6 assists in all competitions, 3 and 6 in the Premier League. And I think that's a good return for a £15 million signing whose first season in the Premier League and is only 22 years old. I think He's got a lot more to offer. I think he would have had a better game if there were players in the box. He was always looking for the cross or the cutback, and there were just no options really for him, from what I can remember. I might have to check that again, but I'm pretty sure that's what I thought at the time too. So we'll have to see, but he does obviously need to develop his game. I think, it's not fair to say he's never going to get any better than where he is at the moment. I think there's still definitely room for improvement. We'll just have to see how it turns out. We obviously said last season, or the 2018-19 season, when Rashford's form dropped off, he's got no footballing brain, he's just quick, and he's got a whipped shot or whatever. But he's really turned into a really smart and intelligent football player whose range of passing has massively improved. So I don't see why we can't see that from Daniel James. So let's just give him time, see what he can do. He's only had 12 months in the role. Let's see what he can do over the next 6 or 7 and make another assessment there. Odion Ighalo gets a 6 as well. I think his hold-up play was great, but overall his movement off the ball wasn't good enough. And I think his actual finishing, whenever he did get a small chance, wasn't great either. I think he's obviously still got really good tally for United. He's got 5 and 5 now. It was 4 and 5 in the game, so he has obviously first time he's not scored when started for United. But that shouldn't dissuade him. I think he's still an important squad player. Obviously, they'll want to reassess the situation in January because Shanghai need to get a replacement if they are to allow Ighalo to leave. And if not, it might be 20-30 million pounds they want for him. And that might be out. Well, United might not want to pay that fee. So things still up in the air there. But he's still our player till January. We'll have to see after then. For the substitutions, Pogba gets a 6.5 for me. He controlled the play. He did everything that a central midfielder should do, something that Fred was doing not as much of. He was really composed on the ball. I think that's what Solskjaer wanted. If he wanted him to be an attacking midfielder and get 6 goals in the game, he would have put him on for Mata. But he wanted him to just control the tempo, just keep everything calm and composed. And that's exactly what he did. You can't fault him for that. 6.5. Pereira, 4. Not good enough. He put on the wing to cause problems, challenge a few players. He was a little bit more technical, a little bit caused he dribbled past a few players, but so did Harry Maguire. It's nothing special, but the thing is he's got to make a difference, and he had a great chance to score and make it 2-1. He bottled it, turned back, did a roulette, and passed it to McTominay, who slipped. He's obviously shot of confidence, or is too worried to make a mistake, so he'll do the easy thing. And that's not what we need at Manchester United. We need the players that take risks. And obviously he's been outshone by Bruno Fernandes. And now Lingard and Mata are clearly ahead of him on the list for the number 10 spots. So I think his time's done. I think 25 million, I think, is the valuation for the 24-year-old. And I can see him either moving on loan or as a full transfer in the summer. Because I don't think Solskjaer really wants him. And he's giving him a few chances, but I think that will be his last game for the club, especially in the Europa League campaign, maybe for next season too. Taith Chong, 6. I think he was all right. He came on as a left back, which obviously has never not been his position ever. He's basically a right winger, and he's been playing as a left wing and a left wing back and even left back this game. So don't think this is what he wanted. Certainly what he wasn't expecting, but he did okay. Didn't put a foot wrong. Wasn't exactly spectacular, but he hasn't been really. I can see him going on loan as well this next season. Martial gets a 7 for me. I think he was only on for a little bit of time, and when he was on, his quality shone, and he got the winner. So good for him. I think those pundits and rival fans saying that Martial won't be able to take United to a title-winning season as the starting striker, I think that's bang out of order. I think it's unfair to say. He's got 23 goals when missing 2.5 months of football over the season. He obviously missed bits of time in December, in January, and in March, and he also missed those 2 months out from, I think, from all of September and a bit of October too. So, I think he's done a really good job, and I hope he just gets a higher goal tally next season. I hope his goal tally doesn't stop this season, so we'll have to see how many he can get this season, and hopefully that can be a benchmark for next season, and he can only improve. He's 24 years old, he's got plenty of time. Then we go to Tayden Mengi, who gets a 6.5 for me. Some people will say he shouldn't get a rating. I think he should. 10 minutes is enough to determine how you think of a player. And I thought he didn't put a foot wrong again. He was composed on the ball. He won a few challenges and he got into some advanced positions at right back when he came on for Fosu Mensah. I thought he did okay. I'm excited to see what he has for the future, but I don't think he'll be in the Premier League side anytime soon. I think we've got a fair few players that are ahead of him in the pecking order and might be getting another one in the transfer window. We'll have to see how things turn out with Gabriel. The manager gets a 7.5 for me. I think this was a bog standard game for him. I think he knew what he had to do. It was just make sure these players get a bit of experience, get a bit of game time under their belts, assess the squad, see which players he wants to keep, which ones he doesn't. It's clear Diogo Dalot's maybe not part of his plans at the moment. Maybe that will change over the summer. Depends on Dalot's mentality, whether he wants to fight for his place or he's happy to just go somewhere else. Obviously, there's been links to Dortmund, to PSG, to Barcelona, big clubs. But, I don't know what the future lies for him. We'll have to see. I'd like to see him fight for his place, though. I think Pereira, like I said, Pereira might be done. I think Chong might go on loan. Fosu Mensah might do. Again, it depends on the Dalot situation. We'll have to see. But I think this is a big game for Solskjaer's squad, not for really the actual result, but for the performances and getting experience and getting game time. So we move on to Copenhagen on Monday. Of course, we will be doing a watch along for that too. So if you're not able to watch the actual game, which will be streamed live on BT Sport, then it will be on our YouTube channel, so watch out for that. Obviously, we'll be having videos coming in throughout that time, the predicted lineups and preview, and of course daily articles that are published on our website and on Twitter and Facebook, so look out for those. But until Monday, enjoy the Champions League that's happening this weekend. Enjoy the build-up and the transfer window. Hopefully United will be announcing signings soon. And see you all on Monday.